Announcer bot is active. T. Sydney from Canada is P1. Josh Fulton is P2. Ricky Richmond from Canada is P4. Josh Fulton is P4. T. Sydney in Wilesburg is first driving a Cupra. Josh Fulton in Salzgrund is P4. Statue in Rotes-Kreuz is P2. 40 minutes remaining in the session. Ricky Richmond is P3. Statue in Kleiner Feldberg is P2. Ricky Richmond in Sprungbrett is second. Deadly D4N13L from United States in Oberreifenberg is fifth. T. Sydney in Salzgrund is sixth. Ricky Richmond is second. T. Sydney in Weilsburg is sixth. Ricky Richmond in Greitenbach is second. Deadly D4N13L in Kleiner Feldberg is fourth. Ricky Richmond in Oberreifenberg is seventh. Slappen in Weilsburg is fourth. Statue in Weilquelle is sixth. Ricky Richmond is P6. Slappen in Kleiner Feldberg is P4. Beast Chief from United States in Kleiner Feldberg is fourth. T. Sydney is eighth. "35 minutes remaining in the session. Deadly D4N13L in Oberreifenberg is eighth. Ricky Richmond is fourth. T. Sydney in Rootskreuz is 6th. Ricky Richmond in Sandplaken is 3rd. Statue in Schieferheck is 3rd. Beast Chief is P8. Ricky Richmond is P2. Grandmaster Matt 44 is 8th. Beast Chief is P9. Josh Fulton in Kleiner Feldberg is P5. Ricky Richmond is first driving a Hyundai. Best lap is a 4:06.611. Curtis Snow from United States is 7th. Deadly D4N13 Alan Greitenbach is 4th. Beast Chief is P8, driving a Hyundai. T. Sydney in Kleiner Feldberg is 9th. Curtis Snow in Stockborn is 6th. Beast Chief in Teufelsquartier is P7. Josh Fulton in Salzgrund is 9th. "30 minutes remaining in the session. Ricky Richmond is P2. Curtis Snow is P8, driving a Audi. Beast Chief in Breitenbach is P6. Deadly D4N13L in Teufelsquartier is P1. Best lap is a 3:58.762. Beast Chief is 8th, driving a Hyundai. Grandmaster Matt 44 in Oberreifenberg is P9. Curtis Snow in Rotes-Kreuz is P6. Josh Fulton is P.5. Ricky Richmond from Canada is P2. Best lap is a 4:03.605. Deadly D4N13L in Oberreifenberg is first. Best lap is a 3:56.606. T. Sydney in Sprungbrett is P7. Ricky Richmond is P2. T. Sydney in Stockborn is P5. Beast Chief in Teufelsquartier is 6th. T. Sydney is 9th. Curtis Snow in Siegfried Stra is 5th. Deadly D4N13L in Kleiner Feldberg is first. T. Sydney in Oberreifenberg is 8th. 25 minutes remaining in the session. Curtis Snow in Salzgrund is P9. Beast Chief from United States is 9th. Ricky Richmond in Kleiner Feldberg is second. Curtis Snow is sixth. Slappin in Oberreifenberg is ninth, driving a Audi. Curtis Snow in Sprungbrett is sixth. Slappin is ninth, driving an Audi. T. Sydney in Salzgrund is P8. Josh Fulton is ninth. Ricky Richmond is second. Statue in Teufelsquartier is P3 best lap, is a 4:16.800. Beast Chief is P9. Ricky Richmond in Wildquella is second. Beast Chief in Salzgrund is P8. Josh Fulton in Kleiner Feldberg is seventh. Grandmaster Matt 44 is third. Best lap is a 4:07.124. Beast Chief in Rotkreuz is P7. "20 minutes remaining in the session. Grandmaster Matt 44 in Oberreifenberg is third. T. Sydney is P9. Statue in Walesburg is 4th. Ricky Richmond in Sandplaken is P2, driving a Hyundai. Josh Fulton in Oberreifenberg is 9th. Ricky Richmond is 2nd. Beast Chief is 9th. Josh Fulton in Wilesburg is 8th. Statue is P5. Slappin' in Sandplaken is 6th. Statue in Salzgrund is 5th. Beast Chief in Rotes-Kreuz is 9th. Statue in Wilesburg is P5. Ricky Richmond in Sprungbrett is P2. Slappin' is P9. Grand Master Matt 44 in Wildquilly is P4. 15 minutes remaining in the session. Josh Fulton in Siegfried Strahr is P6. Slappin' is P8. Statue is P6 dot. Grandmaster Mat 44 is P5 point. Curtis Snow is fourth. Slappin in Stockborn is P7. Ricky Richmond is P-4. Best lap is a 4:01.349 dot. Statue in Rotes-Kreuz is sixth. Slappin in Grattenbach is seventh. Ricky Richmond in Kleiner Feldberg is P4. Josh Fulton in Stockborn is second. Best lap is a 4:00.683. Ricky Richmond in Teufelsquartier is fourth. Slappin in Weilquelle is ninth. Grandmaster Mat 44 in Weilquelle is fifth. T. Sydney in Oberreifenberg is sixth. Best lap is a 4:10.972. Beast Chief in Sandplaken is P8 driving a Hyundai. Ten minutes remaining in the session. Josh Fulton in Oberreisenberg is second. Beast Chief is P8. Statue in Salzgrund is eighth. Beast Chief in Oberreifenberg is 6th. Best lap is a 4:09.302. Grandmaster Mat 44 is P5. Kyle Z32 from United States is 10th. Statue in Kleiner Feldberg is 8th. Beast Chief is 6th. Slappen in Oberreifenberg is 6th. Best lap is a 4:09.247. Kyle Z32 in Weilsburg is 10th. Slappen in Weilquelle is 6th. Grandmaster Mat 44 is P-5. Josh Fulton is P2. Slappen in Kleiner Feldberg is 7th. Josh Fulton in Sprungbrett is P2. Kyle Z32 is 10th. Josh Fulton in Stockborn is P2, driving Audi. 5 minutes remaining in the session. Kyle Z32 from United States and Samplaken is 10th. T. Sydney from Canada in Teufelsquartier is 7th. Best lap is a 4:07.244. Josh Fulton is 2nd. Statue in Kleiner Feldberg is ninth. Best lap is a 4:14.329. Kyle Z32 in Oberreifenberg is 10th. Grandmaster Matt 44 in Oberreifenberg is 5th, driving a Cupra. Best lap is a 4:01.864. Statue is 9th. T Sydney is P6. Best lap is a 4:03.588. Kyle Z32 in Rotes-Kreuz is 10th. Curtis Snow in Teufelsquartier is P3. Best lap is a 4:00.892. Grandmaster Matt 44 is P5, driving a Cupra. Kyle Z32 in Kleiner Feldberg is 10th. Grandmaster Matt 44 in Sprungbrett is 5th. Curtis Snow in Greitenbach is P3. Grandmaster Matt 44 is P.5. Josh Fulton is second. Curtis Snow in Oberreifenberg is P3, driving an Audi. Kyle Z32 in Stockborn is 10th. Curtis Snow is P3. Kyle Z32 in Schieferheck is 10th, driving an Audi. Curtis Snow is P3, driving an Audi. Kyle Z32 is 10th. Curtis Snow is P3. The qualification session is at 1950's Mountain Race in Stuttgart, Germany. Josh Fulton is P1. Ricky Richmond from Canada in Oberreifenberg is P3. Deadly D4N13L from United States is 7th. Josh Fulton is P1. Grandmaster Matt 44 is 8th. Ricky Richmond in Roetskreuz is P3. Curtis Snow from United States in Weilsburg is 8th. Kyle Z32 from United States in Kleiner Feldberg is P6. Statue in Sprungbrett is P4. T. Sydney from Canada is P10. Beast Chief from United States in Weilquelle is 8th. Josh Fulton in Schieferheck is 1st. Deadly D4N13L in Kleiner Feldberg is 7th. Ricky Richmond is 2nd, driving a Hyundai. Josh Fulton is 9th. Josh Fulton is up 9.02 in Salzburg. Ten minutes remaining in the session. Josh Fulton is up 9.15 in Weilsburg. Josh Fulton is up 8.30 in Kleiner Feldberg. Josh Fulton is up 7.85 in Sprungbrett. Josh Fulton is up 8-10 in Stockbourne. Josh Fulton is up 8.27 in Sandplaken. Josh Fulton is up 8.32 in Greitenbach. Ricky Richmond is P3. Josh Fulton in Oberreifenberg is P1, up 0.13. Ricky Richmond in Oberreifenberg is P2, up 0.32, driving a Hyundai. Ricky Richmond is up 0.48 in Weilquelle. Ricky Richmond is up 0.17 in Rotes-Kreuz. Five minutes remaining in the session. Ricky Richmond is up 0.86 in Kleiner Feldberg. Ricky Richmond is up 0.87 in Sprungbrett. Slappen is P10, up 4.64. Slappen is up 7.25 in Weilsburg. Slappen is up 7.97 in Kleiner Feldberg. Slappen is up 6.97 in Sprungbrett. T Sydney is 6th, up 1.67. T Sydney is up 2.59 in Stockborn. Slappen in Sandplaken is P8 up 26.80. Slappen is up 26.96 in Siegfried STR. The qualifying session is now in overtime. T Sydney in Siegfried Street is P6 up 17.79. T Sydney improved is P4 with a 401.818. 5.293 off pole. Grandmaster Mat 44 in Sandplaken is P5 up 1.45. Grandmaster Mat 44 is up 1.70 in Siegfried STR. Grandmaster Mat 44 is provisional pole with a 3:59.943. Slappen is 10th up 20.83. Slappen is up 21.74 in Sprungbrett. Slappin is up 21.90 in Stockbourne. Kyle Z32 in Sandplaken is 9th. Slappin in Sandplaken is P10, up 3.12. Slappin is up 3.67 in Siegfried Street. The race session is at 1950s mountain race in Stuttgart, Germany. Deadly D4N13L from United States is P1. Curtis Snow from United States is P2. Josh Fulton is 3rd. Grandmaster Matt 44 is P4. T. Sydney from Canada is P5. Ricky Richmond from Canada is P6. Slappin is P7. 45 minutes remaining in the session. Race start. Deadly D4N13L is P1. T. Sydney is P3. Josh Fulton in Oberreifenberg is 4th. T. Sydney in Oberreifenberg is P3. Josh Fulton in Oberreifenberg is 4th. Grandmaster Matt 44 is 5th. Josh Fulton in Salzgrund is 4th. Grandmaster Matt 44 is P-5. T. Sydney in Wildquilla is third. Josh Fulton is fourth. Grandmaster Matt 44 is P5. Slappin' in Wilesburg is P7. Josh Fulton in Wilesburg is fourth. Grandmaster Matt 44 in Rotz-Kreutz is P5. Slappin' in Rotz-Kreutz is 7th. Josh Fulton is 5th. Slappin' is P6. Statue is 5th. Slappin' in Kleiner Feldberg is P6. Ricky Richmond in Kleiner Feldberg is 9th, driving a Hyundai, 0.2 behind Josh Fulton. Ricky Richmond is now 8th. Statue in Kleiner Feldberg is P10, 0.1 behind Kyle's 32. Ricky Richmond in Sprungbrett is P8. T. Sydney in Teufelsquartier on lap 1 is 3rd, 0.6 behind Curtis Snow. T. Sydney is now 1st. Ricky Richmond is P5. Josh Fulton is 4th, 0.4 behind Beast Chief. Beast Chief from United States in Stockborn is P4, 0.1 behind Josh Fulton. Slappin' in Stockborn is 7th, 0.1 behind Grandmaster Matt 44. Ricky Richmond in Sandplaken is P4, 1.4 behind Josh Fulton. Slappin' is P7, 0.6 behind Grandmaster Matt 44. Beast Chief in Siegfriedstra is 5th, 1.6 behind Ricky Richmond. Statue in Siegfriedstra is 8th, 0.6 behind Grandmaster Matt 44. Ricky Richmond entering the pits is 4th. Ricky Richmond is 5th. Ricky Richmond lost 5th to Slappin'. Statue is P7. Josh Fulton in Salzgrund is 3rd, 1.4 behind Curtis Snow. 40 minutes remaining in the session. Curtis Snow is 2nd. Best lap is a 4:19.387, 3.054 off the fastest lap. Deadly D4N 13L is 7th. Deadly D4N 13L exiting pits. Kylie's 32 exiting pits. Josh Fulton in Rotz-Kreutz is P3, 1.5 behind Curtis Snow. Slappen in Rotes-Kreuz is P5, 3.9 ahead of Statue. Josh Fulton in Kleiner Feldberg is P3, 1.3 behind Curtis Snow. T. Sidney in Teufelsquartier on lap 2 is first, 3.3 ahead of Curtis Snow. Josh Fulton is third, 0.8 behind Curtis Snow. Grandmaster Matt 44 exiting pits. Beast Chief on lap 2 is fourth. Josh Fulton in Sandplaken is third, 0.9 behind Curtis Snow. Curtis Snow from United States and Schieferheck is P2, 0.7 ahead of Josh Fulton. Josh Fulton in Greitenbach is P3, 0.5 behind Curtis Snow. Curtis Snow is second. Josh Fulton is third. Best lap is a 4:00.155. Curtis Snow in Oberreifenberg is second, 0.8 ahead of Josh Fulton. Ricky Richmond exiting pits. Beast Chief exiting pits. Josh Fulton is third. Ricky Richmond exiting pits. Deadly D4N13L in Greitenbach is seventh. Josh Fulton in Wildquella is P3. Slappen is P4. Josh Fulton in Weilsburg is third, 0.6 behind Curtis Snow. Kyle Ez 32 from United States is eighth. 35 minutes remaining in the session. Josh Fulton is third. Grandmaster Matt 44 in Sandplaken is 10th. Deadly D4N13L in Weilsburg is P7. Statue is 6th. Grandmaster Mat 44 in Siegfried Star is P10. Statue in Kleiner Feldberg is P6, 3.5 ahead of Deadly D4N13L. Kyle S32 is 8th. Ricky Richmond in Stockbourne is 9th. Deadly D4N13L from United States in Stockbourne is 7th, 2.8 behind Statue. Ricky Richmond in Schieferheck is P9. Deadly D4N13L in Sandplaken is 7th, driving a Cupra, 0.5 behind Statue. Deadly D4N13L passed Statue for P6. Statue is P7. Josh Fulton in Salzgrund is P3, 3.5 behind Curtis Snow. Deadly D4N13L in Siegfried Street is 7th, 0.2 behind Statue. Kyle Z32 in Schieferheck is 8th. Deadly D4N13L in Oberreifenberg on lap 4 is P7, 1.8 behind Statue. Slappen is 5th. Deadly D4N13L from United States in Salzgrund is P7, 0.5 behind Statue. Deadly D4N13L is now P6. Beast Chief in Rotkreuz is P4, driving a Hyundai. Statue is P6, driving an Audi, 0.2 behind Deadly D4N13L. Deadly D4N13L was 21.0 faster last lap. "30 minutes remaining in the session." Statue is now P7. Deadly D4N13L is P6. Slappen is P6, 0.1 behind Deadly D4N13L. Slappen entering the pits is first. Josh Fulton is 4th. Beast Chief is 5th. Josh Fulton in Schieferheck on lap 4 is P4, 3.1 behind Curtis Snow. Curtis Snow was 4.2 faster last lap. Slap-in is P1. Slap-in exiting pits. Slap-in lost P7 to Kyle's 32. T Sydney is P1. Best lap is a 4:00.165.290 off the fastest lap. Josh Fulton in Oberreifenberg on lap 5 is third, 2.9 behind Curtis Snow. Ricky Richmond is P9. Slap-in Whalequella is 8th. Best lap is a 4:10.628. 10.753 off the fastest lap. Statue in Breitenbach is 6th. Kyle Z32 in Sandplaken is 7th. Josh Fulton in Rotzkreuz on lap 5 is P3, 1.9 behind Curtis Snow. Statue in Oberreifenberg is 6th. Best lap is a 4:20.858, 20.983 off the fastest lap. Josh Fulton in Sprungbrett on lap 5 is third, 1.9 behind Curtis Snow. Josh Fulton was 1.7 faster last lap. Kyle Z32 is P7. Josh Fulton in Teufelsquartier is P3, 2.1 behind Curtis Snow. Kyle Z32 is P7. Kyle Z32 exiting pits. Josh Fulton in Sandplaken is P3, 2.2 behind Curtis Snow. Deadly D4N13L is P5. 25 minutes remaining in the session. Josh Fulton is third, 1.7 behind Curtis Snow. Slap-in Gradenbach is 8th. Josh Fulton in Oberreifenberg is P3, 2.1 behind Curtis Snow. Slappin is 8th. Josh Fulton in Wildquelle is P3, 2.0 behind Curtis Snow. Josh Fulton was 1.2 faster last lap. Slappin is 8th. Deadly D4 N13L is 5th, driving a Cupra. Statue and Siegfried Streit is P6. Deadly D4 N13L is 5th. Deadly D4 N13L exiting pits. Deadly D4 N10 lost 5th to Statue. Josh Fulton is P3, 1.9 behind Curtis Snow. Deadly D4 N13L is P6, 1.9 behind Statue. Josh Fulton is P3, 1.2 behind Curtis Snow. Deadly D4 N13L is 6th driving a Cupra, 0.6 behind Statue. Kyle Z32 is 7th. Statue and Rotes-Kreutz is 6th, 0.1 behind Deadly D4 N13L. Ricky Richmond in Stockborn is 9th, 2.0 behind Slappin. Statue in Kleiner Feldberg is P6, 1.0 behind Deadly D4 N13L. Ricky Richmond in Schieferheck is P9. Best lap is a 4:01.771, 2.208 off the fastest lap. Statue in Teufelsquartier is 6th, 1.6 behind Deadly D4 N13L. 20 minutes remaining in the session. Ricky Richmond from Canada is 9th, 0.6 behind Slappin. Ricky Richmond was 10.2 faster last lap. Slappin in Oberreifenberg on lap 6 is P9, 0.1 behind Ricky Richmond. Josh Fulton in Rotes-Kreutz is 3rd driving an Audi, 2.1 behind Curtis Snow. Slappin on lap 6 is P9, 2.3 behind Ricky Richmond. Josh Fulton in Kleiner Feldberg is P3, 1.5 behind Curtis Snow. Kyle as 32 in Stockborn is 7th. Josh Fulton in Teufelsquartier is P3, 1.5 behind Curtis Snow. Curtis Snow from United States and Stockborn is P2, 1.6 ahead of Josh Fulton. Curtis Snow was 0.7 faster last lap. Deadly D4N13L is 5th. Best lap is a 3:59.875, 0.312 off the fastest lap. Josh Fulton in Schieferheck is 3rd, 2.6 behind Curtis Snow. Kyle C32 from United States is P7. T. Sydney is P1, 3.1 ahead of Curtis Snow. Deadly D4N13L in Teufelsquartier is 5th. Grandmaster Matt 44 is P10. Slappin in Siegfriedstra is P9.
Kyle Z32 is 7th.
"15 minutes remaining in the session." Josh Fulton is P3 driving an Audi, 2.3 behind Curtis Snow. Curtis Snow in Kleiner Feldberg on lap 8 is 2nd, 2.3 behind T. Sydney. Curtis Snow was 0.9 faster last lap. Josh Fulton in Sprungbrett is 3rd, 1.5 behind Curtis Snow. Beast Chief is P4. Kyle Z32 from United States in Teufelsquartier is P7. Josh Fulton in Stockborn is third. Best lap is a 3:59.563. Curtis Snow in Sandplaken is P2, 1.8 behind T. Sydney. Josh Fulton in Schieferheck is P3, 1.1 behind Curtis Snow. Curtis Snow in Siegfried Streck is second, 1.0 ahead of Josh Fulton. Josh Fulton is P3, 1.0 behind Curtis Snow. Josh Fulton was 1.6 faster last lap. Ricky Richmond from Canada in Breitenbach is P8. Kyle Z32 is 7th. T. Sydney in Salzground is first, 2.6 ahead of Curtis Snow. Josh Fulton in Weil-Quelle is P3, 0.2 behind Curtis Snow. Kyle Z32 exiting pits. Statue is P6. Best lap is a 4:10.299, 10.736 off the fastest lap. Josh Fulton in Weilsburg is third, 0.4 behind Curtis Snow. Curtis Snow is P2, 0.8 ahead of Josh Fulton. Josh Fulton in Kleiner Feldberg is P3, 2.0 behind Curtis Snow. Curtis Snow is P2, 2.4 ahead of Josh Fulton. Curtis Snow lost second to Josh Fulton. T. Sydney in Teufelsquartier is P1. 10 minutes remaining in the session. Ricky Richmond in Kleiner Feldberg is 7th. Slappin exiting pits. Deadly D4N13L in Weilsburg is 5th. Statue is P6. Josh Fulton in Schieferheck is P2, 2.4 behind T. Sydney. Statue in Wilesburg is 6th. Josh Fulton is 2nd, 2.2 behind T. Sydney. Kyle Z32 in Sandplaken is 8th, driving a Audi. Grandmaster Matt 44 is P9. Statue in Teufelsquartier on lap 9 is 6th. Curtis Snow is P3. Grandmaster Matt 44 in Teufelsquartier is 9th. Kyle's 32 in Salzgrund is P8. T. Sydney in Sprungbrett is P1, 3.3 ahead of Josh Fulton.
Kyla's 32, entering the pits, is 6th.
Ricky Richmond is P8. Grandmaster Matt 44 in Greitenbach is 9th. Josh Fulton in Stockborn is 2nd, driving a Audi, 0.3 behind T. Sydney. Curtis Snow is 3rd. 5 minutes remaining in the session. Josh Fulton in Schieferheck is P2, 1.9 behind T. Sydney. Beast Chief is 4th. Josh Fulton is 2nd, driving an Audi, 1.7 behind T. Sydney. Beast Chief in Sam Placken is 4th. Josh Fulton in Salzbrunn is second, 1.4 behind T. Sydney. Deadly D4N-L in Schieferheck is P5. Slappen in Sprungbrett is P10, 0.2 behind Grandmaster Mat 44. Grandmaster Mat 44 was 355.2 faster last lap. Josh Fulton is P2, 0.9 behind T. Sydney. Slappen is P10, 0.6 behind Grandmaster Mat 44. Josh Fulton in Kleiner Feldberg is second, 1.8 behind T. Sydney. Josh Fulton was 0.5 faster last lap. Slappen in Sandplaken is P10 driving a Audi, 1.8 behind Grandmaster Mat 44. Josh Fulton is P2, 2.0 behind T. Sydney. Slappen in Greitenbach is 10th. Josh Fulton in Stockborn is second, 0.6 behind T. Sydney. Josh Fulton passed T. Sydney for P1. T. Sydney in Sandplaken is second, 1.5 behind Josh Fulton. Josh Fulton was 0.5 faster last lap. Statue in Weilquelle is sixth. Curtis Snow in Sandplaken is third. Beast Chief in Teufelsquartier is P4. T. Sydney is second, 1.9 behind Josh Fulton. Deadly D4N13L in Stockborn is P5. T. Sydney in Salzgrund is second, 0.8 behind Josh Fulton. Curtis Snow in Oberreifenberg on lap 12 is third. T. Sydney in Weilsburg is second, 1.4 behind Josh Fulton. Statue in Teufelsquartier is P6. T. Sydney is P2, 1.2 behind Josh Fulton. Deadly D4N13L in Salzgrund on lap 12 is 5th, 0.8 behind Beast Chief. T. Sydney in Sprungbrett is 2nd, 1.2 behind Josh Fulton. Josh Fulton was 3.5 faster last lap. Statue in Schieferheck on lap 11 is 6th. Beast Chief in Walesburg is 5th, 0.1 behind Deadly D4N13L. Deadly D4N13L was 17.1 faster last lap. T. Sydney in Stockborn is P2, 1.7 behind Josh Fulton. Statue is 6th. Curtis Snow is 3rd. Best lap is a 4:00.584, 2.250 off the fastest lap. Statue is P6, driving an Audi. Statue exiting pits. Beast Cheese in Teufelsquartier is 5th, 2.1 behind Deadly D4N13L. The leader has just finished the race. Josh Fulton finished 1st. T. Sydney finished P2. Curtis Snow is 3rd. Curtis Snow finished P3. Ricky Richmond is P7. Ricky Richmond finished P7. Deadly D4N13L is 4th. Deadly D4N13L finished 4th. Beast Chief finished P5. Grandmaster Matt 44 is P8. Statue is P6.